Hey everyone, I'm here with Bailey Murphy. Bailey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Can you introduce yourself shortly?
Yeah, sure. My name is Bailey Murphy. I'm from the United States and the U.S. I represent Team Straight Up. When you guys see me normally in the WAKO scene, I'm representing WAKO Team USA.
Nice. Did you go to the national championships this weekend?
I actually did not.
Oh, okay.
I did
Oh,
not. I missed it because of track. So
yeah.
I'm in university. I'm in college right now. And while I'm in college, I run track, and that takes up a good amount of my time too. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like a dual sport athlete, and this past weekend I wasn't able to make nationals because of track.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of training. How do you handle this?
It's not easy, but I'm competitive, and I like that type of challenge. Doing two sports and having those two things, it kind of helps with my day, gives me a model of my day. So like today, for example, I woke up at 6:45. I had practice at 7, or no, I woke up earlier at 6:45, but I got to the training facility at 7 for my track practice. After that, I had a full day of classes. Then I had a team track lift, and then after that, I went. I didn't train today actually, but I taught. I went and taught for 2 hours, and then I came back, relaxed for a little bit, and now here I am.
Wow, and that's just what the week looks like?
Yeah, normally, so
Yeah.
a regular day for me.
Wow. And it's not even like the seasons are so like you can do point fighting and then you can go to track. It's like everything is at the same time.
Yeah, like
Okay.
it's all yeah. So really, in the summer is really the only time where I'm focusing just on my point fighting.
Mm-hmm.
So other than that, like before WAKO Worlds, like the day before I left, I had track practice. So it's just yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it's they work, but I kind of like that because they work hand in hand. I think track
Yeah.
helps with my fighting, and I think since I've been fighting since I was young, I think that's helped with my track as well.
Yeah,
Makes me a
it
better
makes a lot of
athlete.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So in college, you mainly focus on the track. Like, is that why you're there? Are you like a student athlete?
So I'm here on a track scholarship,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but I'm in school studying criminal justice.
Mm-hmm.
I
Nice.
like to be a juvenile probation officer when I'm
Nice.
older, and then when while I'm doing that, I also like to continue fighting
Mm-hmm.
and open up my own school.
Cool, cool. Okay. So it's not like you can skip the track. It's like that's the main thing you have to do.
Um, well, no, my coach is actually he understands that I fight. So certain events, like for WAKO Worlds, I obviously talked to him in advance. He knew a year before, like yeah, during this time, coach, I won't be around. I'm gonna be in Italy because I have an
Mm,
important event. So depending on the event, like if this was a year where WAKO Worlds was happening, I probably would have talked to him and said, yeah, coach, I'm not gonna be around for this and me. I'm gonna go to nationals,
mm.
compete.
Yeah, okay. Makes a lot of sense. That's good that you have this kind of relationship.
Yeah.
I saw some pictures of you where you were so young and you were fighting, point fighting. Like, when did you start and how did you get introduced into the sport?
So I started fighting when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
My first tournament ended up being when I was 7 years old. But for whatever reason, ever since I was little, I just wanted to do martial arts, and I once I started, I just fell in love with point fighting.
Nice.
I remember a conversation when I was younger. My mother asked me, she said, Bailey, do you want to play American football, basketball, or baseball? And my response was, no, I just want to do karate. So yeah, really from the time I was young, I feel as if I was kind of destined for this.
Amazing. And can you tell me more about what is it about point fighting or the martial arts that just drives you there?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel as if it's I don't know, it's just like a outlet for me. Like if I have a terrible day, just knowing that I'm gonna go train or go point fight, it it just makes my day a little better. It's almost as if it's therapeutic, and I'm a competitor, obviously, and I just love that aspect of it, and having something to work for and strive for ever since I was younger, wanting to be as great as I have become, and still wanting to be better. Um, it's just what keeps me driven, and why I continue to push like I do.
Amazing. That sounds really great. And for you, like maybe this question doesn't make sense, but for you, is point fighting something very tactical and almost like playing chess, or is it about like the explosiveness and the like punching or kicking or something?
No, it's definitely about. I think it's definitely chess. It's chess, not
Mm,
checkers. Um, every step in point fighting matters,
yeah,
definitely for sure. Um, and while I'm doing it, I love to have fun. For me that's the best part. Like being creative and just doing things that people haven't seen before. It works in my favor, and I'm pretty successful with it.
amazing. Yeah, pretty successful. Yeah. And I'm completely off script now, but I'm just
Yeah.
going with these questions because I like this topic. And who taught you this? Did you figure these like chess steps out yourself, or did you have a coach who was like, "Okay, Bailey, when this happens, you can do this and this"?
So that's a great question. Actually, from the time I was 5 to 16, from the time I was 5 to 16, I had an instructor. When I turned about 16, my instructor stepped away from the sport. So for 5 years now, I've kind of learned some things on my own, kind of continue to develop by myself. Um, and haven't had a constant coach, someone that's kind of looking after me. So I really find things by looking back at my own film and understanding, and just continue to work hard, knowing that a lot of people don't have these type of problems where they don't have a coach or someone that's constantly looking at what they're doing. That gives me another edge mentally, knowing that it's like no one else is going through this and I am. So yeah,
Wow, that's incredible because like you have to continue learning and you have to
yeah.
continue living up to and developing, so that you can do that on your own, that's incredible. Do you feel like at some point soon you could be in a place where you will need someone to get you further?
Oh, for sure, for sure. So when I say I haven't had like a constant coach, there's definitely times where I have no problem. Like I put my pride to the side and reach out. Like
Nice.
a great competitor and friend of mine, Tyreek
Mm-hmm.
Pierre. His like growing up, we always went back and forth. We fought a lot, and now to this day, I consider him one of my best friends. And while we were rivals when we were younger, and I still consider him one of my rivals, I'd have no problem reaching out to him and reaching out to his instructor as well. And I definitely train with them as often as I can. So yeah, I definitely continue on to learn from everyone as much as I can, because I still have a long way to go from where I want to be.
Nice. I love how you say that you just put your pride to the side and you just
Yeah,
ask the damn questions, because that's what you have to do, right?
yeah, exactly.
And now you say you're not where you want to be yet. Can you tell us what do you want to achieve in kickboxing?
So with this sport for sure, I want to be known as one of the best. Um, and I don't know. That's really what I've wanted to do since I was a little kid. That's really just been the dream
Mm-hmm.
since I was a child, to um be considered one of the best of the sport. Like when people talk about point fighting, um, I it's important for me that my name is mentioned
Mm-hmm.
because of how much I've put into this sport and how much I love this sport. So that's really the main goal, to when I'm done fighting and people are still talking about point fighting. If I'm not at a tournament when I'm older, I still want my name to be mentioned.
Nice. That's really cool. So is this about like more of a process for you than it's about winning, or?
That's a good question. So I feel as if the main goal is always to win.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna go to an event if I don't feel like I'm gonna win, because that is the main goal. I'm not gonna step into a ring if I do not feel like I'm gonna win, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no point. That's just kind of my mentality on it. So while it is a process, I still have a high means for myself in doing so and winning and getting a lot of championships right now. Even though I'm still young in this sport, like it's not like after I lost to Elijah, I'm like, it's okay. I'm only 20. It's I lost to Elijah, so now I need to work because this is uh, he's at where I want to be. So it's kind of that
Nice.
mentality.
That's really cool. We will talk a lot more about that mentality later because I have so many questions.
Yeah.
But okay, this is really cool. Let's talk about your training. How much do you train at the moment?
So that's a great question. Not as much as I'd like to, but I feel like I train 2 to 4 times a week.
Hmm. The
So
point fighting,
obviously, say again.
or the point fighting, or in total?
Just point fighting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
with track, I'm working out 6 days a week.
Hmm.
So every day besides Sunday, and then I work out every single day because Sundays is one of my days that I get to point fight. So while I'm not point fighting every single day, I'm making sure that I'm watching film because that's one of my favorite things to do, regardless. And I'm staying in great shape because I am doing track and I'm lifting. So
Hmm.
when it at this point, um point fighting is kind of like riding a bike. Like it's not something I'm gonna forget. Once there's a tournament arriving, obviously I'm gonna train more, and then in the summer when I have more time and I'm not doing school and I'm not doing track every single day, I definitely um point fight a lot more because that is my favorite thing to do anyway. So
Nice. Okay. And when you say you love to watch film, like you skip the Netflix and you go and watch point fighting?
oh yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
every single day I watch film and I break it down. I have notes in my phone of what I did correctly, what I did wrong, what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. Just understanding the game and breaking it down to T's.
This
That's
is
I feel
amazing.
like that's as important as getting rounds and drills for me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of people miss the step, and a lot of people don't even know how to watch point fighting, or they don't enjoy watching it. It's it's crazy because it's such an important step.
Yeah.
And wow, okay. I'm amazed that you do this.
Yeah.
That you say like you like to do this. This is
Oh yeah.
your
No,
thing.
I've loved to do that since I was little. Even to this day, I'll go watch fights from when I was like 15, 16, and I was getting better.
Hmm.
Seeing stuff that I've kind of abandoned or stuff that abandoned or stuff that I used to do really bad. Just
Hmm.
understanding why I did it, so I can continue to get better in myself with fighting. Watching old fights of people, watching newer fights. I think all of it's important. Just seeing the transition of when they got this certain technique or when they got so much better. I feel like understanding that is an important part of the game.
Nice. So do you dig into one fighter and just be like, okay, now I just binge watch this one fighter, or could you also just pick a random fighter and see, okay, how is this person doing?
Oh yeah, a random fighter, even if it's a person I'm not fighting, I
Hmm.
feel like you learn a lot, even if it's someone that's not say in my weight class. Just
So true.
understanding why they're doing certain things or
Yeah.
stuff like that is very important. And sometimes it's not even me just breaking down fights. Sometimes I just love watching fights in general. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's just fun.
Nice. And do they have to be like a certain level for you to enjoy them, or you really
Um,
think that you can learn something from everything?
so that's a good question. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes they have to be a certain level. For me to break it down, I can watch a, a, a fight that isn't with two fighters that don't have the greatest fight IQ, but I'm not gonna sit there and break it down because they're
Doesn't
not
make sense.
understanding. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not understanding things on the level that I understand things. So
Yeah. Yeah, this is very interesting to see fighters who understand the game or doesn't understand the game. And I feel like my sports IQ in point fight, I'm very new to point fighting. I started just 4 or 5 years ago.
okay,
And then I came on, and I also went to Italy for the first time to the World Championships. But I'm definitely like in a
yeah,
development phase, right?
yeah,
And I don't fully understand the sport yet. And
mhm,
I don't fully take advantage of every situation yet, but sometimes it's harder to fight someone who doesn't fight the
uh,
game, right? Because they're
exactly,
just
yeah,
doing something and you don't know what to expect.
Yeah, when you're fighting someone that doesn't have the greatest IQ and they're not reacting to certain things the
Yeah,
way a high
exactly.
level fighter would, so it kind of throws you off. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's something that has always kind of bothered me. It's difficult to fight fighters that don't have it all together yet, like
yeah,
in the ring. Yeah,
exactly. It's a fun thing, but it makes sense that you wouldn't spend time breaking that down because
yeah,
there's nothing to break down.
yeah.
Okay. And actually, I also want to know this. I got the question on Instagram, like, how do you get this explosiveness in your legs? Like, how do you just go forward like this?
That's a great question. Part of it, I would say, part of it is a gift. But
Mm-hmm.
I do run a lot. Running is very important, and I'm a sprinter. I feel like a lot of my explosiveness has come from uh my sprinting in track and field, and also just a lot of the drills that I do for my blitzing. I think I've made a big point of being explosive because that's something that works in my favor.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. And oh, I just had a question on top of my head, but now now I don't remember it. Um, damn it. Okay, maybe it will come back.
Yeah.
But okay, cool. Oh, this annoys me. What was the question? Okay, I don't know. It's gone. Um, okay, and what motivates you to wake up every day and train like this?
Um, I'm not where I'm at, where I want to be at. So every day, like I don't know. I just constantly want more. I have a strong hunger of wanting to be the best, and even when I am the best, I'm gonna train like I'm the worst. That's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of my mentality. No matter how good I get, I'm gonna act as if I'm still 8 years old and I want everything because
Nice.
I just don't think my hunger for winning could ever just be put to rest.
Nice, amazing. Now I remember the question because you are, I normally don't believe in this, but you are one of these people where I think that you could just like if you see a basketball for the first time, you will just pick it up and you will make the 3 points. Like
Yeah,
that you can just do whatever you want to do, especially like athletically, or
yeah.
how you say that word, right? But is that true? Because the reason I don't believe it is because behind like every great athlete, there is just hard work. So what would you say? Like, are you this person who can just do whatever, or is it the hard work?
Nah. I feel like I'm talented enough to do things on a subpar level,
Mm-hmm.
but um on an elite level, no, I don't think I could do a lot of stuff because there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. I'm actually a very, very good athlete. With football, American football, I only played American football for 3 years, and I was one of the best on my football team in high school. Um, but like with soccer or football, and you guys call it in Europe, I'm absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I am terrible. No matter how athletic I am, I'm not good at that sport. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, there are other sports. Sometimes I pick up things very quickly. So if I were to train and stuff like that, I feel as if I could be good in anything though.
Nice. Okay. This is always interesting to hear because people will just think that okay, I just do it one time and then I can be the best person in the world. Do you have any big tournaments coming up?
Um, no, I have a tournament and it's a NASCAR tournament, April 8th through 10th.
Mhm.
It's called the Ocean State Grand Nationals. Um, so that would probably be my first tournament of the year. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to that.
Did you also have a lot canceled because of the COVID?
This year, no. We're you know how
Okay.
America is. We're not really as strict
Yeah.
as you guys in Europe. So yeah, things haven't really been canceled.
Okay, that's good to hear. But I would love to hear how you prepare yourself for a tournament. So, like, if we can talk about from 2 weeks before to 1 week before to like the day before and on the day, like, can you take me through the whole process?
Yeah. So okay, 2 weeks before, to be honest, I'm still going. I'm still going pretty hard. Um, training is still hard. I'm not really tapering off or anything. About a week before a tournament, it's gonna be more drills. I'm gonna make sure I'm still getting in my rounds and my sparring, but it's gonna be more drill oriented, so it's not a lot of contact. The week of, uh, I'm only gonna train 2 weeks. I mean, the week of, I'm only gonna train 2 days. Sorry. One day is just gonna be primarily drills and sparring, and then the next is gonna be drills. I don't like to spar right before tournaments, and then when I'm at the tournament, I do a little light sparring just to get my legs warm, especially if I'm going to Europe and I have a long flight. I think that's
Mm.
important to get my legs loose and just ready for the next day. Um, in the week or the day of, I'm doing a lot of stuff like the day before, just getting my legs warm, a lot of stretching, um, and then really I'm just listening to music and just focusing. And uh, of course, I'm a little nervous, but as soon as the judge says fight for the first time, all that goes away. I remember that I'm Bailey Murphy. So
Nice. Cool. And do you analyze your opponents before a fight?
say again.
Do you analyze your opponents before a fight?
My what?
Your opponents.
My I can't. Oh,
The, the
my opponents. My
yeah,
opponents. Well,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, I
so,
see the
yeah. So and in the U.S. Well, yeah. So in the U.S. we don't really have a bracket the night before or the day
Okay.
before. It gets shuffled in the ring right
Mm-hmm.
there.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it gets shuffled like a minute before your fight. Like they can
Whoa.
shuffle it. Yeah, it can get shuffled and then you fight. So
Okay,
and
I
then
thought point fighting was impossible to prepare for because you don't really know the specific time, but you just put an extra edge to it. Be like, well, you don't even know who you're fighting.
yeah. So what they do is in the U.S. they'll call your division.
Uh-huh.
Make sure they check in everybody that's there. Um, and
On
the
the
people that
weight,
are
like they do
yeah in the
this.
weight class. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you're
Wow.
they check you in. Once you get checked in, they shuffle you, and then if you don't have a seed, um, you could end up fighting first. And I normally in the U.S. it's a little different. You have to pay for your seeds, and
Oh.
I don't. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't usually pay for my seeds.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't pay for my seeds at all. So I'm typically first fight. I could be first fight, and yeah, so it's clearly seconds after they shuffle. So after they shuffle, they'll say Bailey Murphy versus whoever. So, but and like for example, like for Worlds, knowing I have the bracket a day or two before, um, I'm definitely able to go on YouTube, see some fights, or if I have a buy and I can sit and watch them fight, knowing that I have to fight the winner of that fight the next day. That's
Mm,
a great feeling as well. So
yeah. Wow, I cannot believe this. So, like, if you are on the like breaking point with the weight, you don't even know if you're gonna make it, and you cannot like get more water or food in
yeah,
before your fight.
so they have you so what they do is for point fight. All right, so for a NASCAR tournament, it starts on a Friday. The
Mhm.
weigh-ins you can weigh in on Friday to Saturday morning, really until you want to just sign up for your division. Then
Mhm.
once you get your weight, they put you into the division, but there's no bracket made. You're just a part of that division. Okay, and then after that, later in the day when the division is going on, like when they call the division, then they shuffle it. So yeah, it's really just no one knows until you don't know who you're fighting until the division's called.
Wow, that
Yeah,
really amazes me. It's so different. I was wondering
yeah,
because I heard in an interview that you said you have to adjust to the European way of fighting. And when you say these things like this, even this is before the fight, I imagine then, okay, maybe some of the rules are different. Or I also see how at the tournaments in America, the people are standing so close to the
yeah.
tatami. It's a whole other
People,
feeling.
people are right next to the tatami. If you go out of bounds, you're probably gonna bump into somebody, kick
So you don't make
somebody.
an exit?
So the way we do, to be honest, they don't really call them a lot.
Oh, okay.
If you literally go out of the ring and it's obvious, you may get a warning,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very rare in the U.S. to be honest that you're gonna get -1 or the person's gonna get pointed to the other side for you going out of bounds.
Okay.
And like here in the U.S., if 1 foot is out of bounds, you're still technically in.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Europe, if 1 foot goes out, It's an exit.
Yeah. Very different. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then kicks to the body are 2 points in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jump spin kicks to the head are 3.
Okay.
What else? You could throw a kick with one hand on the ground. Yeah, you can put a hand on the ground.
Okay. This opens up to a whole nother game. Like
Yeah, yeah.
very different. Okay. Very interesting.
Mhm. And
Okay.
then let's see what else. Most fights are only 1 round, and it's a
2 minutes?
7 point spread. Yeah, 1 2 minute round. Yeah,
Okay. And seven
except for
points what?
except for final fights. Final fights are
Mm,
two 2 minute rounds.
okay. Okay. And what do you say with the 7 points?
So it's instead of they just changed it this year actually, but
Mm-hmm.
instead of a 10 point spread, it was a 7 point spread until
Ah,
this year. Yeah.
okay. 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 And do you have a warm-up routine that you do every time?
Yeah. So actually, I do my track warm up
Mm-hmm.
routine. I do my track warm up routine, and then I do some bouncing around and some fakes and kicks and punches, just getting myself ready and just listening to music, doing a little dance sometimes. So just getting
Nice.
myself prepared and
Yeah.
relaxed.
And what value does it bring to you to have just one specific warm-up routine?
Um, I feel like so really the warm up I do is my college warm up routine, and until college, I feel as if I wasn't warming up correctly.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
ever since I started running college track, I've just felt a lot better, even for my races. And since I started doing it for fights, it's just made me just made put me in the best position to be prepared and all warmed up. So
Nice. And was it a routine that your coach gave to you, or was it something you had to build for yourself
nah,
within
something
some?
it was actually a routine my the coach gave to me. A whole team
Mhm.
does it at the beginning of track practice, and like we have a card. It tells you exactly what to do. It tells you how to cool
Nice.
down after. So it gives me, yeah, I think it's very helpful.
Nice. Really cool.
Yeah,
Okay. And I really agree with you. Like, if you don't do a routine that you know will give you, like, make you 100% ready, it will just vary too much. And you shouldn't be affected too much by that because, even the arena can be so cold, or, you will have to wait another 30 minutes before your fight. So you have to know what will get you in the exact moment,
yeah,
so that you're ready to fight. This is really cool to hear. And also, this is when I talk with, for example, Elite or some of the big athletes, they also tell me like they have the warm-up routine ready because they don't want it to be like an accident if they are ready or not.
yeah.
This is really cool. Do you also practice your mindset?
Yeah, I do practice my mindset. I feel as if a lot of the music that I listen to, it kind of emulates the mindset that I have. How I'm just how like knowing that how good I am, but understanding like I still have a lot more to work for. Just, I feel as if, like I said earlier, um, there's no reason why a fighter should go into a fight thinking that they're gonna lose. That's just not really that mentality doesn't really make sense to me. No
Mm-hmm.
matter who's in front of me, I'm not fighting a name. I'm a name myself. So um, if I'm training well, um, I feel like going to a tournament for me is uh just picking up my trophy. That's kind of the mentality I have. Whether I win or lose, even though I've lost to Elijah, like I said, there was not a moment when I stepped into that ring where I didn't think I was gonna win. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that was his same mentality too. Like he stepped into the ring and said, "I know I'm gonna win." And if you don't have that mentality when you're fighting, you shouldn't be in the ring, in my opinion.
Cool. Okay, I have two things. One is about the music, and the other one is about this winning. So, with the music, so do you only listen? Like, do you choose the music so that you only hear what motivates you and what tells you, like, for example, I'm the best, or I can do this, or this type of music? Are you very selective of this?
Yeah, so yeah, I have a so I make a lot of playlists,
Hmm.
and for tournaments I have a playlist ready. It has songs like that, but there's also songs that I just enjoy as well. I like to listen to when I'm warming up. So
Nice. This is very interesting because like what you hear, what you put in your ears is what you will believe. Like what
Yeah,
you tell yourself is what you will believe. So you can be very selective about this, and you can choose to listen to music that tells you what you
yeah,
want to hear, right?
100%.
um yeah. And the other thing about the you don't step into the ring without like the mindset that you will win, was it always like this? Because for example, when you were younger, you would probably be in situations where you knew you couldn't win, or maybe, but at least like from my perspective, where I am now, still as a kind of newcomer, I fight against people who've been in the sport for 15 plus years. Like there are some people where if I step into the ring, it's really hard to convince myself that I can win this fight. But like, so could you always bring this mindset to the mats, or has it become easier over the years because now you're a better fighter?
It's definitely become easier, but I feel as if I really have had that mindset since I was younger. And then losing for me, like, so I've always had that mindset, and then losing, that just makes me want to push to another level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and while I'm pushing to another level, it's just giving me more confidence where I do feel and think that way that I'm gonna go to this tournament and win. So I feel like I've always had that mindset. Like in uh, I went up to adults in when I was 16
Mm-hmm.
here in the U.S. and I I won a lot of overalls at 16 years old, and I had that confidence since I was young. Where yeah, I'm 16 years old, but I know I could beat a lot of you guys, and I'm better than a lot of these guys out there. So
Yeah, cool. That's amazing. Um, what do you feel like when you are on the mats? You said before you like to dance around, and that's also what I see when I see you fight. It's like
yeah.
you always got some moves. So what do you feel like when you are on the mats fighting?
When I'm on the mat, I feel as if it's just a free space. Like I said, for me to be creative. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I fight best when I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, and I'm really just being myself, staying loose and um, doing new things. Because when I just let myself go, then like I said, I score things that people never seen before, and sometimes a lot of stuff looks like it's mistakes, but some of the stuff that I do is like I actually practice and I understand why I'm doing it, and but it does look like mistakes. But yeah, like just being on the mat, just I don't know, allows me to express myself. That's really what I just love to do. Like I said, I love point fight.
Amazing. I mean, I know I haven't seen everything, but from what I've seen, I don't think it looks like mistake. It looks like really smart and really quick decision making.
Yeah, yeah,
And also taking chances where I think no one else would take chances,
yeah, exactly.
it's amazing to watch you fight.
Thank you,
So
appreciate that.
so let's talk about the pressure, because obviously you handle it pretty well, but how do you deal with it?
I don't know. I feel like I thrive under pressure. I feel like pressure makes me fight better. Just
Mhm.
knowing I'm in positions where the outcome doesn't look likely. I feel like just knowing that it just makes me want to be a better competitor and just shock people. So
Mhm. And how did you learn that?
um, I don't know. I've always felt like when people start to count me out, or like when things like I said don't really look likely, I just like proving people wrong or showing like anything really is possible, and no matter what the circumstances are, no matter how much I'm down, like it's not over until the clock is at zero.
Yeah, that's so true. This reminds me of something that happened at the training tonight, that we were practicing the step back and then the blitz
Yeah.
against kick. And I realized that sometimes I actually stopped because, for example, I was in the corner and I realized,
Mhm.
okay, they got me now, so I'm done. But they didn't, because none of us made the score. I was just
Yeah.
caught in the corner, but that didn't
Yeah.
mean that I could actually still make a point.
Exactly.
So, changing that mindset, like it's
Yeah.
not finished until
And
like the
and
referee said,
that's all it really is just a mindset. Like
yeah,
once you believe it in your mind, I feel as if you could really do anything.
yeah, that's so true. And Like, okay, so let's talk more about this. Uh, how did you learn about this mindset? Like, do you sit down and read books? Do you have a coach or like someone who told you these things?
So I've always been on mindset just watching like Kobe Bryant, a lot of old NBA players. They've always had this mindset of knowing like how just being aware of how good they are and understanding that continue to be that good, they still have to put in the work that no one else is putting. I've also read the book Relentless by Tim Grover. So that's just, yeah, I do a little reading and just watching a lot of motivational videos
Mm-hmm,
and just putting myself in that winning type mindset.
mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And did you then have to practice the mindset, like, and then realize, okay, this is working for me, this is not working for me?
Um, no, I feel like a lot of it, even without reading or watching, I feel like a lot of it is just I've understood that.
Mm-hmm,
Like even from young, I didn't let it get to my head. Really let it get to my head as a junior. I was very very successful,
mm-hmm,
and I understood from a young age that I was gonna be really good at this sport. And a lot of people hate to hear people talk like that, but it's more of I understood that I was good, and I just didn't let it get to my head. I understood how good I was, and allowed that to motivate me to push myself and bring it to another level. Because while I knew I was good, I wasn't as good as I want to be, and I'm still not as good as I want to be. So yeah, I'm good. I'm pretty good, but it's still not even close to where I want to be.
mm-hmm.
I've kind of always understood that.
Cool. Because I like how this holds you accountable also, because if, for example, let's say now that you are the world champion, if it was your goal to just win and not be the best version you could be, then maybe it would be enough to be the world champion and then
Yeah,
okay, whatever, I will just relax. But you have your own standards and you want to live up
yeah,
to them, so this is what you train for.
yeah.
Amazing. Do you have one advice about like mindset or athlete mentality or something that really stuck with you? Like you heard it once and it's like, wow, game changer.
Um, Really, my favorite video is a Kobe Bryant video, and they're so the Lakers are up. I don't even remember who they were playing, but they're up 2-0 in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the interviewer asked, he was just at the table, not smiling or anything, and they said, uh, like, you aren't happy, and he said, what's there to be happy about? The job's not finished, and that's kind of really my whole mentality. Like, after I I won in overtime my second fight. Um, yeah, I was excited in the moment, but like there's nothing to be happy about because I still hadn't won the entire event. There's nothing to hold me happy about. Like that was what I was supposed to do. Like that was an expectation of mine. So
Cool. Okay, thanks for sharing that. How do you deal with making mistakes? Because I mean, it happens to everyone.
um I've I deal making I learn from my mistakes and my mistakes and I use them uh to my advantage. Like if I make mistakes during my fights, that's something I'm very good at disguising. Now
Mm-hmm.
that like people have capitalized on some of my mistakes, I'm gonna kind of use that to my advantage during the fight, kind of show those same tendencies so I could set other stuff up. So sometimes during fights when I do get scored on, I'm like, okay, good. Now he's thinking this, so now I can do this. Like I said before,
I
it's
love this.
chess. Yeah.
This is amazing. You're like taking like your sports IQ is not even like understanding you make mistakes, but it's like taking advantage of making those
Yeah.
mistakes. Like putting the player in, like, you know what your opponent wants to do before he even knows what to do, because you will set him up to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is so cool. This is so cool. And how do you deal with losing? You talk a little
Um,
bit about the fight with Elijah, but yeah, in general, how do you handle it and what happens after you lose?
I'm a, I'll be honest, I'm a sore loser. Like after, well, not like to the to Elijah or to whoever I lose to, but by myself when I'm alone, I'm very very hard on myself. Like I throw fits, I act like a little kid, but that's because I love to win, but I hate losing even more. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I hate losing with a passion. So, uh, when I lose, it is a blessing though because it puts me in a position where it I have to. It's like a restart. It's a restart button. So now I start from square one. I watch film. I understand that's the toughest thing to do is watch a fight where you lost and where you lost bad. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I feel like that's the first step in order to get where I need to go. So I watch the film that I have to do, um, and then I go from there.
How do you get over this watching your own film?
How do I get over a loss or watching film?
Yeah, so like I'm thinking when you have to watch them fight, but like do you like take a moment, breathe, like okay, I have to do it, or do you like okay, I'll do it tomorrow, or like do you know I need to get it done because otherwise I will just think about it?
No, I watched me and Elijah's fight at least 10+ times before I even left Italy.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Okay. Um, just sometimes it can be like, okay, I just really don't want to watch this fight, but you have to
yeah.
watch it.
I watched that fight. I watched Team USA versus Team Italy in the final or team fight. And I watched all those fights multiple times before I even left Italy. So yeah, I feel like that's important. Just being able to get that out of the way. Just having I feel like as an athlete, a great athlete, you have to have a short term memory,
Mm,
whether it's a win or a loss.
yeah,
You can't be too high or too low. You can't dwell on a win or a loss for too long. So I
that's
took
so
I
true.
took the L. I took the L. And I just ran with it. Like I lost, and there's nothing I could do about it in that moment. So I'm just gonna prepare for next time and make sure that it doesn't happen again. And that's really all you can do as a
Nice.
winner. That's just a winning mentality.
Yeah. Wow. That's so cool. Um, I wanted to talk to you about like coaches, but now you said that you don't really have one specific. But maybe we can talk about when you had one.
Yeah,
Because like I want to hear about um, receiving feedback and like talking about the game.
yeah.
How did you do that? And did you talk with your coach about how you prefer to receive the feedback?
So me and my coach are really on the same. Uh, we're on the same page and we
Mhm.
understood each other very well. And some of the stuff that I do now is really like even not even in the ring, just the tendencies that I have outside the ring as like a fighter with a high IQ, um, understanding different fighters and watching film and breaking it down. I feel like a lot of that is because of him, because he instilled those little things in me. And I've kept them and carried them on. So something that my instructor and I used to do a lot was he would pick me up from school and bring me to the dojo hours before there was practice, and we would just watch film just because
Nice.
I was one of those kids that was just so dedicated, um, and I just loved doing it. Like I've always been obsessed. Like I can name fights that happened years ago that I wasn't even really around for, just because of how much I've watched and learned, and that was something that we've always connected and bonded on. Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, it must have been very hard on you when he decided to step back more.
No, it was very hard, but like I said, that I couldn't let that stop the ultimate goal. So I had to let that motivate me as well. Nothing I can really
Sure.
do about that.
Yeah. And then what happens when you go, for example, with the national team and you meet a completely different coach? How do you guys make that work?
So it's a little different for us. So the US is small, so the coaches
The
that
US is
coach us,
small.
huh?
The US is small. Did you say that?
For I'm saying in the tournament scene.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Our tournament scene is small, so a
Mhm.
lot of the coaches. I see them at a tournament on a weekend. I see them often, like when I'm
Okay.
not fighting against their fighters. So we are on WAKO Team USA at the end of the day, so I have
Okay.
no problem connecting and bonding with them when we're not fighting.
Okay. Cool. Can you use some of the things that you learned in kickboxing in your real life, like outside sports?
I feel like kickboxing has instilled confidence in me in my outside life, and just the will to have perseverance, and just knowing like even when things aren't going my way, um just to not give up. because that's the most important thing, not giving up. Um, and just I don't know. I feel like it just helped me in every way. I feel like because of kickboxing and martial arts, I am the way I am today. So.
Nice. And does life sometimes put you in a situation and then you just realize, okay, I can use this thing that I just learned in kickboxing?
Uh, yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of it is in the mindset and stuff that I learned in kickboxing. It puts me in positions like I even like in fights where I have to figure it out. Like I have to find a way to get through it when things aren't going my way. I can't just give up. I have to figure it out one way or another because the fight is gonna go on and the day is gonna go on. So if I don't figure it out, I'll get left behind.
That's so true. And I'm just wondering, like, how else would someone teach, like, how else would you learn these things? Because it's not like something that you learn in school or anything. It's really, truly life lessons. So without a sport, like,
Yeah.
how would you get to know this stuff?
Yeah, I think sports are the most important thing in the world. One of the most important things in the world because it shows, especially like for me as a student athlete, like I've done sports in school too, and not just like kickboxing. Like sometimes I'll have like in high school I'll have a I'll have a bad game and we'll lose a game. The next day I still have to take a test at school. Like I can't just after the loss I can't just not study or for the test. Like I still have to prepare. It's just like I said, you have to be able to have a short term memory. Understand that sometimes things truthfully aren't gonna go your way, no matter how much you prepare, no matter how much you want them to. But you just have to keep pushing and keep going, and just be more prepared next time. And that's just the way you have to think.
So true. Okay, I have just one last question for you now. What is one advice you would give to someone who, like, one thing that they could start doing right now if they want to become the best fighter they can be?
One thing I say to everyone is watch film. You have to
Mhm.
fall in love. You have to fall in love with this sport. Um, Professional athletes on every level. That's something that they do, no matter what sport it is. They're watching like if a soccer team has a game, if they lose or win the next day, they're gonna be watching that film. I feel like that's important. Just knowing like what you're doing correctly and what you aren't doing correctly. I feel like that's the most important thing. And visually seeing it is a true blessing. That's why I think it's important to record your training sessions, record your tournaments, your fights. All of it is extremely important in my eyes.
Nice. I have a practical question, a practical question about recording your training sessions because I want to do that and I did it a couple of times, but like, so you take your phone to the gym and you videotape the whole session, or you like stop when you are
Oh,
doing an exercise? Just because like
yes,
1 hour
yes. No,
film.
I'll start and stop. I've also used the GoPro, so there have been
Uh-huh.
times where I've have recorded full training sessions.
Hmm.
Yeah, sometimes I'll just start and stop.
Okay.
Not everything. Yeah.
Okay. And what about if you move around in the gym? Like, so you are bringing your phone, like, okay, now I stand here. So I grab my phone and I run there and I set it up and then I start? Or how do you
Oh
do it?
yeah, there have been times with that, or if I'm lucky enough, then I have other training partners. I'll
Mm-hmm.
have that aren't actively sparring at that time. I'll have them record for me too.
Oh, okay, that's smart. Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. um, oh, now I was about to call you Lydia. I'm so sorry, Bailey. Um, if someone has a question for you or anything, can they contact you?
Absolutely. If anyone has questions or if anyone would want to work with me, they could contact me on Instagram at w.baileymurphy or my coaching account on Instagram, which is Be Real
Mm-hmm.
Coaching on Instagram. Either of those, you guys are more than welcome to contact me. And if you want to contact me on Facebook, it's just Bailey Murphy, and I'd love to answer any questions.
Nice. Okay, I will follow your coaching account. I need to
Yeah,
follow that one. That's really cool. Okay,
yeah,
thank you so much, Bailey.
no
Um,
problem.
wish you all the best.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you.